Hey, I'm making this to hopefully help some people improve a little bit in gameplay and how to look at the logs to help you with that. So I pulled up the logs. I posted them in Discord in the logs channel, funnily enough. So this is from Saturday night's raid. Liberation of Underline tells you encounters and trash fights, all encounters, which is the bosses, and then each individual boss that we pulled on. So we got Sticks, Bunk Junker, and it defaults to show you your kill. If you didn't kill it on your first try, you have this show all button over here on the side. So you can see all your wipes also. How many wipes did you have? And how far did you get in each one? We got a kill on Sticks. That's the only one I'm going to focus on right now. And then we have Sprocket Monger, and we see that our best pull was 27%. So we'll look at that at some other time. But for this video, we're just looking at Sticks. So let's click on Sticks. And the first thing it shows you is a summary. It tells you it took us 649 to kill the boss. This is the damage overall through damage and healing, graphical display of that if you want to look at that, knock yourself out. Shows you who all was in the raid, tanks, DPS, healers. And it gives just a brief summary of damage done, healing done, damage taken, and deaths. Sorry. And so let's look. Everybody wants to know their DPS. So let's look at the damage done. And we'll scroll through here and we'll see Rolling Rubbish did the most. Those trash files are very important. They do a lot of damage. It doesn't count for us, but there was a lot of damage to Rolling Rubbish. Kent, not surprising, was top. Zeus right behind him, and Brooklyn on his mage was right behind that. You see the breakdown of everybody else. These color-coded numbers on the side, this is your ranking versus all other in that class and spec. So Kent is at 98% of all arcane mages. Yay, Kent. And then on this side, it ranks you your parses. You hear people talking about parses. This is your parse percentage ranking you up against others in your item level, eye level percent. So it says Kent was at 89% for all arcane mages who have an item level between 679 and 681. So he's at the top of his game, no matter how you look at it. And it also says 1,096 parses. So there's not a lot of people up there with it. So 89% out of all those elite guys. Zeus, 79 overall, 51 for folks with his high item level. So it's a way to look at how you rank up against other people, not just the people in our raid. So you have the orange is the best, and purple, blue, green, and then gray, just like with your gear. It ranks it. So even though you could have a pretty high DPS relative to our raid, at Karakos here, 14% overall for demon hunters in his item level. So obviously room to improve. Wiz, 1% for people in your item level. Need for improvement. So you can just look at that. And it even ranks you for tanks. Will's doing pretty good for folks in his item level as a tank, even though, his DPS as a tank is not going to be that high. That's not your priority. You're supposed to be doing threat generation, holding the boss, that sort of thing, and not getting killed, and keeping things off the other people. So when you're a tank and your DPS is up there, you're pretty happy. Same thing goes for healers. Healers aren't doing DPS, but as a healer, you're ranking. You can look at that and think, hey, I was doing pretty good for Resto Druids with my 208,000 DPS. That's not what a Resto Druid does. But for a Resto Druid, hey, go you, Val. You can also see your relative rank compared to everybody else. How much lower are you than everybody else? Everybody is up in that million range, that's great. If you're just below a million, that's pretty good. If you're way below a million and you're a DPS, you either died or there's some serious work you need to do. In this particular fight, nobody was below both tanks and healers, so yay. You can look at your damage taken, and you can see what the things that you were taking the damage the most from. Let's just look at Zeus since he's not DPS. I mean, not tank. And you can see the things that he was taking damage from: scrap rockets, incineration, hot feet, incinerator. Um, this is the rocket salvos, the actual damage when you got the buff. Melee, he got hit by the boss or maybe the hyenas. Well, the infected bite is from the hyenas. So he might have got hit by the boss somewhere in the way, but not much. Muffled doomsplosion. That's when you roll over the bomb with your hamster ball. You take a little bit of damage. It's not bad, but you do take a little bit of damage. So he blew up a bomb. Yay, yay. Short fuse. This is the crab bomb. When it explodes, it does some damage. Infected bites from the hyenas. Hot garbage. You stepped in a burning trash pile. Sometimes you have to run through one to get away from something else because it lit on fire under your feet, but whatever. And he got rolled over. So, oops. Healing. If you're a healer, you want to look at, how was my healing? Not Zeus. You want to look at where your healing ranked. So all the healers are great. They're at the top. So, yay, healers. Threat. This is something a tank is going to be more interested in. Who had threat when? Did we keep threat? Did somebody not a tank get threat? How long did they have it? So Bell had threat for such a short time that it doesn't even register. Nova had threat a little bit. I mean, these are the hyenas. You can see it was the hyena. So people that had a hyena chasing them, they had threat for a very short time and took it immediately to tanks to pick up the threat. So that's what you're supposed to do. You can look at your buffs, and there's a whole lot of raid-wide buffs and such. Look at that. Debuffs, deaths. Curie is the only one that died in this particular fight at 517. So 649 fight. He died at 517. That's fairly late in the fight. He got hit by scrap rockets, garbage pile, and toxic fumes. So he was standing on or right next to a garbage pile enough that he got his feet in it. And so it does that damage to you if you're using GTFO or DBM. It hollers at you. The scrap rockets hit him. That's the scrap master when he launches his rockets. So he got hit by that. Was standing on a garbage pile, and the ticking damage from the toxic fumes, which is when people set the garbage pile on fire. So it was just too much. He couldn't handle that. Sucks to be you. You can look at interrupts. Who got the most interrupts? Caracos on this fight. Yay. Dispels. That's going to be mostly healers. Apparently, there's nothing to be dispelled in this fight. Resources. You can look at the various resources for your class, spec, whatever, the different things. It's a lot of information. I don't usually bother looking at that one. And cast. Cast you would want to select on a particular person. I'm going to just look at myself and all the things that were cast. I cast spinning crane kick a lot, probably too much, where I was just spinning around trying to pick up the extra mobs. So, for example, when I had the boss and Lil had the hamster ball, I would do that spinning crane kick as I was running around trying to knock the exploding crabs off their trash pile. And so I'm doing the AoE damage to the crab and the boss at the same time. So there is some rationale for doing spin and crank kick. Some of these I could have also done and it would have done the same thing, but I did a lot of spinning crank kicking. Like I said, probably too much. And it just says how many times I cast each one of those things. What my uptime, keg smash, 77%. Keg smash is one of my big threat generators. It's AoE damage also. And I only had it up 77% of the time. Part of that might be because I was on a trash pile. I mean, not on a trash pile, but a hamster ball. So you can't throw kegs while you're on a hamster ball. This fight is kind of weird that way because most of us were about half the time on a hamster ball and about half the time fighting things. So it's not as much to look at on this particular fight. And in this particular thing with Warcraft Logs, you have the analyze section, which is just your basic information graphs and such. You can compare to, say you were wanting to compare, let's see, two of the same class. I'm going to pick on Cage and Zeus. Oops. Zeus and second player Cage. So then you can do a side by side. If you had somebody else that was also in your same class and spec, you might want to say, how did I do against them? What was the cast that they did? If this person did way better than me, what are they doing different? So you could look at that. So that's kind of a useful thing. If you know somebody else is doing really good and you're struggling, you can look, see what were they doing differently. You can look at their talents. You can copy their talents. All sorts of things you can do there. You can look at the mechanics of the fight, and this is where you get the Wipefest link to go look at that. Rankings. I think this is going to be against other guilds, or let's see. No, this is individual rankings yourself and everybody else. And then you got this replay, which is a really cool thing if you really want to get to the nitty gritty of what happened when. So you've actually got this video thing that is huge, Mongolus. Can I scroll this? Scroll it out. Okay, well, that is monstrously huge. Okay, maybe we'll just go with it. So this is where we started the boss. This is the boss. And this is all of us where we're running around. And you can see where you were. It's targeted on me. So I'm over. No, that's not me. It's highlighting me. Where am I? There's me. So I've got the boss here and everybody else. So you can kind of look. This is as the fight's going along. This is all the damage that's being done by the rest of y'all. And you can change the speed and all that sort of thing. And so you can see, okay, here's one of the territorial bombshells. We got it off its trash piles. Here's some hyenas. You look at it's an interesting way, graphical representation of where you are, what you were doing in the fight. And you can pause it and say, what was going on here? It's a scrap master. He's shooting off and you can see the different things, who he's targeted on or whatever. So if you're going along in the fight and you're going, what the heck was going on? You see all the things happening throughout this fight. I don't see the trash piles being lit up. Let's see, is this where Kyrie dies? Somewhere it'll show like a red X when somebody dies. This is his big lightning circle thing that we got to dodge. Went too fast to the other one. Where's Cage died. I mean, not Cage. Curie died at 5. Where is it? Did we get him back up? I don't see him dead. Maybe I didn't go far enough. There's a big flat circle. I'm not seeing it. It would show him blacked out. You see the health going down where those bars are people taking damage. Because it usually it'll put like an X over the player when they get splatted. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna leave that alone. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Sorry about that. So you can use all these different things, and if you scroll down into go back to analyze. If you scroll down at the bottom of this page, it has the tools that Warcraft Logs has available. You got WoWAnalyzer one and Wipefest is another. These are the main ones that you're going to use. So I've already pulled them up, and so we have Wipefest here. Wipefest gives a breakdown overall of what you did and didn't do that you might need to change. So let's look at the kill for sticks. And this is the mechanics raid wide. This is everybody in the whole raid. Died to scrap rockets one time. Look, we know it was Kyrie. He died. And it says approximately, it says the time, 5:17 in the fight, got blasted. Triggered short fuse one time by hitting a bombshell with rolling rubbish or failing to kill it before it exploded. So you got the crab bombs. Somebody rolled into it with their hamster ball, or we didn't kill it in time and explode. I'm not sure which, but we took 71.5 million raid wide damage. So we don't want to do that. Took extra damage, 472 million extra damage from toxic fumes. Those are all those garbage piles that got set on fire by incinerate, the hot feed. This is very important. This is why we don't want to set trash piles on fire, either by running into a crab bomb or running over it with the hot feet. That's a lot of toxic fume damage that the healers are having to heal through 472 million damage that they shouldn't have to be. Stay off the trash piles. Hit Sticks Bunk Junker with rolling rubbish 18 times, dealing 1635 million. So that's 1,635,000,000. That's a lot of damage. So those rolling rubbish piles hitting the boss, if you're not rolling into a bomb to blow it up, the bomb's already down. Roll around, get your hamster ball to the biggest size, and run it into the boss. Folks who are standing around the boss need to move out of the way when they see a hamster ball coming, because you really can't control it that well, and you're going to roll over folks when you're rolling into the boss. Picked up enemies with the rolling rubbish 31 times, debuffing them with messed up. That messed up causes all those little hyenas and extra things that you're running over the hamster ball with and picking them up. Takes 100% extra damage when you pick them up with your hamster ball and run them into the boss is preferred. If you roll around and you pick up enemies and your hamster ball expires before you get to the boss, they can't be picked up again. So somebody's got to run over and pick them up. So you pick up the the hyenas and whatever, and you're not running into a bomb and exploding them, run them into the boss, because then they can be melee down, AoE down. Use potions and flasks, food, enchants, and all those. And again, you see the color coded. Blue's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Green is eh. Gray is not so great. Looks like maybe we could have done it more. Hit sticks 18 times. I don't know why that's gray, because that's a good thing, but I guess there were more hamster balls that could have hit him. I'm not sure. Use the potions, flask, all that. So that's pretty good. Make sure you do that. It helps. Hit buy 6 bunk junkers overcharge bolt during overdrive 3 times. So it wasn't too often. So we still got the blue rating, but that's avoidable damage. Avoidable damage is something you want to avoid. That's the blue puddles that's being sent out when he does that giant blue splash thing. So even the little blue puddles do cause damage, and that's extra that the healers shouldn't have to be dealing with. Splashed incineration to other players, causing unnecessary damage. It still gives us purple, so some of that may be unavoidable, or it's not really unavoidable because it's unnecessary damage, but I guess it's one of those things like, yeah, this is going to happen. So when the hot feet are coming out and we say, watch your feet, everybody should be spread apart just enough so that if you get the hot feet circle, you're not putting your hot feet on somebody else, and especially not putting your hot feet on a trash pile. You got to burn somebody else to avoid a trash pile. Sorry, burn them. Hit by Scrapmaster's dumpster dive, taking 2.6 million avoidable damage. Not a lot overall. Only 2 people got hit. So when the Scrapmaster is shooting off his dumpster dive, get the interrupts. That way people aren't getting smacked by it. Or that's not the interrupts. That's his dumpster dive. So that's something you run away from. Don't get hit. Interrupt his Scrapmaster's scrap rockets 30 times, preventing heavy damage. Those scrap rockets do a lot of damage. And it's a ticking damage. So get the interrupts. That was pretty good. Use combat or mana potions. Only 7 of us did, and I was not one of them. Zeus got 2, Nikki got 2. Way to go. Daff, Missable, and Kent each got 1. Nobody else did. I'm one of those nobody else's. I forgot to take my combat potion. This fight usually lasts more than 5 minutes, so you can get 2. Just like Zeus and Nikki did. Take your first combat potion on pull. And then 5 minutes later, you got a second potion up. Those potions give you an increase in damage. You want to increase your damage. So make sure you use your potions. Make sure you have your potions and use your potions. Remove territorial from the bombshell in about 7 seconds. And we did good with that. Tanks are going to they're going to drag the boss to those territorial bombshells, the bomb crabs, and knock them off their pile, and then move to the next one and that sort of thing. The ones that are not right next to where the boss is, you don't want to drag the boss all over the dang place. So sometimes you got a crab bombshell that's way out, not close to the boss. So that's where your ranged and your other DPS are going to go knock that crab off his trash pile. Because if he sits there, he's going to blow it up, and then you're going to have lava on the floor. Rolled over friendly players with rolling rubbish 54 times, causing damage and stunning them. We got a gray for that because that's a lot of rolling over your friends. I was the number 1 roller overer with 11, so I need to work on that. Try not to roll over folks. But again, if you can move out of the way from somebody barreling him with a hamster ball, please move, because again, it's not that easy to control them sometimes, especially if your frames take a dip. It's horrible. Have had that happen. Where we go? Non-tanks gain stacks of infected bite from junkyard hyenas. The hyenas are going to start attacking whoever they're close to. If you get a hyena on you, run it to the tanks so that they can pick up aggro. 16 stacks of infected bite does ticking damage. It hurts. So, try not to do that. Healed with a healing potion or health stone 7 times. Pretty decent. Use your heal pots and your health stones to help your healers out. So that's good. Then you have, that's the overall for the whole raid. Then you have the breakdown of individual players. I'm gonna pick on myself here, and it actually gives a ranking here. So actually, I'm gonna go to Big Daddy because he was number 1 in this group. He had a score of 88. So it gives you a score of just like a checklist. Did you take damage from the trash compactor? Did you take damage from meltdown? Did you die? You get points taken off for each of those things. He did take damage from rolled. Sometimes you just can't help it. Somebody rolled over you. So he got an overall score of 88. Let's go pick on you, Wiz, for the low score. Damage from incineration, from dumpster dive, from getting rolled, and from infected bite. These are things that technically you can avoid. You just got to be careful. The roll is a little bit harder to avoid, but just be aware, situational awareness. If somebody's barreling him with a hamster ball, try to get out of the way. And hamster balls, it's kind of crazy sometimes. So do your best, try to get out of the way. So this is how you can see where you are compared to everybody else and being prepared with all the things that you're supposed to do. And you can see everybody's relative item level while you're on this page too. All right, so now we're going to look at, that was Wipefest. Now we're going to look at WoWAnalyzer. And I think I'll link that in Discord anyway. So it gives you the fights and it shows all the wipes. So we're going to look at the kill. And then we're going to analyze, and we'll start with myself. And first off, you see all this red. So that means I screwed up. Always be casting. My ability uptime was less than 50%. Melee uptime, less than 50%. This is kind of a weird fight, like I mentioned. With the sticks fight, you're rolling around hamster balls about half the time. So that kind of makes sense. That tracks that about half the time I was not doing stuff. So, it is what it is. Shuffle is my major damage mitigation as a brewmaster. 86% uptime, pretty decent. These gaps most likely are when I was on the hamster ball, so I'm not terribly worried about that. So I'm gonna look down. These are some of my mitigation things. I could have used them. Could have used this purifying brew when I didn't, and clear some damage. So these, just little hints that you should have done. It points it out to you. Problem point 1 of 20. You can just cycle through each thing and see what things you missed, what thing you could have done better. Core rotation. This analyzer looks at your class and spec and says all the things that you're supposed to be doing and gives your breakdown of what you missed. So when you see red, you did something wrong. So frequently missed blackout kick, 75%. You say, show me. So then it pops up this little example, which you can actually scroll through a bunch of them. And it says, I cast Tiger Palm. 21 seconds, I cast Tiger Palm when I should have cast Blackout Kick. You cast Spinning Crane Kick. Like I said, I did a lot of Spinning Crane Kick, and it says I should have been casting Blackout Kick instead. Keg Smash. I should have cast Blackout Kick. So, There's a lot of blackout kicks that I missed. I got to work on that. So this is a way you can say, "Oh, I'm missing things in my rotation. I should work on it." With Brewmaster, that's it shows me my cooldowns, it shows me my energy, shadow strikes, major defensives, and so that's it. It shows me. All right, I'm gonna pick on. Um, I'm gonna pick on Wiz just because he's the last one on the list. Rampage is your most important. If you aren't in rage, Rampage should be used as soon as you have enough rage. Efficient use is really important. Number of times the builder was used instead of Rampage, 139. That's a lot. Use your cooldowns, avoid downtime, and then it gives you suggestions. Cast this more often, do that. All these little helpful hints. Fury Warrior doesn't say anything about what I'm looking for. Let me find somebody where it does. Um, Definitely pick on you because it shows it on this one. Some classes it shows at the bottom. Here it is. Preparation. Yeah, I'm not sure why not all of them do, but if you're one of those that shows preparation, you can see. All right, enchants didn't have any on boots. Get a boot enchant. Ring. It's a cheap version of the enchant. Get a better one. Weapon. You didn't use a weapon enhancement. Algari mana potion. Make sure you're using your weapon enhancement. Everybody. I'm not just picking on that, but this one just happens to show it. Bracers, that's from the Great Vault. You might not have had opportunity to get that. I don't really care about that. If you can get it, if if you don't have those tokens yet, that is what it is. And then you see this one's in yellow, so you got the culminating blasphemite, which is your high quality gem, but then you have masterful emerald, which evidently is not max quality. So it's gonna show green, red, or yellow, or green, gray, or yellow, or red in that case. This is gray because you don't always have that opportunity. This is red because you should and you don't. So this is yellow because you have it, but it's not the best. And then it says your consumables, you were well fed, you used your combat potion, that's good. Or you used one, you could have used two, so and then you had your flask buff. So not everybody has that particular breakdown, but go through it for your class and you can see the things you did good. And you can see, 95% uptime on your Sunfire. Way to go, dude. And then you can see, oh, shoot, I messed up. I didn't get my Eclipse Star Surges. I used Star Surge. No Eclipse Star Surge. You're supposed to use Star Surge when you're in Eclipse. I'm not familiar with balance druids, so forgive me on that. So these are the things that it tells you, hey, you should have had this when you use that. It's a way to improve how you do things. So use these tools. I posted the logs in Discord every week. I posted uh, this one, WoWAnalyzer, along with it. I don't usually post Wipefest, but both of those tools you can get right here when you just click on it. What you're going to do is go back to the base where it just shows not with all the extra stuff. So you click on that and it has the extra slash blah blah blah. So click on that. So you just get the short version, copy it, click on WoWAnalyzer and paste it. Let me just do it so you can see what I'm talking about. Copy WoWAnalyzer and it's got a place to paste that log in it. And then it takes you right to where I was. So you can see how you did, how many wipes did you have, how far along did you get in the fight, why did you wipe. So let's look at our best rocket monger. I'm going to say probably that one. This is Whitefest. This is not the one I want to be. why not? Let's look at WoWAnalyzer. Oh, we already did look at that. Actually, go back to Liberation. Let's look at. Is that the thing I was just looking at? It is. All right, Wipefest. This is the one I want. Select a different pool. Let's go to Rocket Longer. Mechanics. So you can see the things that we stood in. There's a lot of standing in. You can see the things that we need to work on avoiding. So just use the tools that we have available. And if you have a question, just holler. We want to help everybody get better. And by no means am I any kind of pro, far from it. But I want to get better. And that's where all of us should be. If your heroic rating, your progression rating, you want to get better. So if you need help, ask for it. Love y'all.